Geek Show for May 15th, 2020. I'm your host, Scott Alden, also known as Aldi. And once again, I'm joined by my co-hosts. Lovely they are. Lincoln Damhurst. I think I can't see them, so I'm going to have to remember. Lincoln Damhurst, Steph Hodge, W. Eric Martin, and Rodney Smith, everybody.
Hey.
Present. Almost.
We made it.
How's everybody?
We were testing you. We weren't even acknowledging it.
That's right.
Well, it was just my face, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, who's here?" And I was trying to look, and nobody was there, and I had to remember.
We're all here, Scott. We're all with you.
It's hard to remember. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Well, everybody, welcome. We're doing a live show today. Oh, it said 484 viewers, and then now I look, it says 184. So I'm guessing something was weird there with Twitch.
Sure.
We have a whole bunch of fake accounts.
A whole bunch of nonsense. A whole bunch of fake phantom Twitch people. So I was getting my air conditioner repaired today, so I've been doing this.
Masking
but now
it up
I'm isolated in my room. But yeah, I got my fancy mask with the fancy pattern off Etsy.
All right.
So I hadn't been using that very much because we don't go out very much. Haven't really had a chance to use it. But those guys are here today and fixing the air conditioning, which is broken.
Oh, the banner's covering my face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
You have to peek over it. That's all.
you have to peek over the top of it. You're the banner. You're at the banner line, Rodney.
That's right. I know where I sit.
So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And if you're watching this on BoardGameGeek, like in that window, you can click on the Twitch logo. It's in the bottom right of that little corner, and you can come in and chat with us.
Join
We'll
us
probably
at
do
the
some
chat.
questions or something if we have time. I think we will. So first announcement we have is BGG Con Online is next week. Starting on Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Pacific Daylight Time. 1 o'clock
Fast
Eastern.
Nobody
approaching.
lives there, so
Yeah.
you'd have to do a lot of math to get all your hours. Especially Rodney. What is that, like 5 p.m. for you, Rodney?
What time did you say it was at?
2.
Three.
It's at 2. It's at 2.
10,
2 p.m.
2.
2 p.m.
for Rodney. For
So
Rodney.
10 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
No.
Plus 4.
No?
Rodney's
Or
at
no,
plus
the other way
4.
around.
Yeah, he's plus 4.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's 2
plus
p.m.
four.
It's 2 p.m.
So hang out with us, and tomorrow night. Oh, Lincoln, did you want to say something?
No. I was going to just say about the time, but go ahead.
So the schedule will go up today.
Today?
Maybe.
Question mark.
Today.
I'm glad none of
we
us
can
know.
actually go. We've locked in the schedule. We just don't have the page ready for it. We're making a brand new Board Game Geek page where you can actually possibly buy the games. We're hoping that if everything works, you'll be able to purchase the game right there on the page as the game demo pops up. So, and any of the games that we are demoing tomorrow are mostly all available for sale, like 90%.
Demoing
very
on
cool. So
Wednesday and Thursday, but not tomorrow, yeah.
Sorry,
so
Wednesday
sort of
and
like
Thursday.
a little bit of a con experience. You'll be able to be at the booth, see the game, and then buy it effectively, right?
Yeah, and you'll get it in a week, or hopefully
Yeah.
less
No
than a
standing
week.
in line.
Yeah.
No lines. Yeah, yeah. So we're really excited about that. I hope you guys, or hope everybody, not guys, right? It's guys and gals,
Everyone.
and everyone else, come to that event online for us and support us by watching it. Before I forget, there was something else. I
Even
wanted
you
to say about
phantom
that.
fake Twitch accounts.
Yes, all those
You
phantom.
can show them too.
So it's still at 184. So we've neither lost anybody or
Mine
gained anyone,
says
so-
233 now, so
Oh well, we're up. What is
Yeah.
the deal with that number? Why is it all weird?
it's people probably coming in and going, nope, then swiping left.
So that is the BGG Con line. Did I forget anything about that? No, I forgot two things. It's not just on Wednesday, but it's also on Thursday. As well.
Thursday,
Wednesday
correct.
and
Yeah, I
Thursday.
did say Wednesday and Thursday, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
I
great.
just
We
wanna make
actually
sure.
we tested the technology the day before yesterday, and with all the publishers. We have one publisher that
yesterday?
one
Oh,
of
no,
the
that was
designers
before.
2 days ago,
Yeah.
and everything went well. So that's really great.
Yeah, that was interesting. We started at 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. your time, right? And we were getting the people from Germany in there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
they
the
were-
German, the SDJ, the Spiel des Jahres.
Jury, yeah, the announcements
ahead,
go up. The announcements go up on Monday of what games are nominated, and on Wednesday morning, the first thing we do at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time is have Christoph Schlewinski and Manuel Frisch going to be talking about the new games that were nominated. So they'll have 9 new titles to new titles, but new titles to tell us what's happening with those nominees, and hopefully we'll have some of them on hand. We don't know.
Yeah.
The crew. Nice. I mean, yeah, the crew's probably.
They announced them on. They announced. We think the crew. That's pretty much a gimme.
I mean, but we say that, and then things don't get nominated. But you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Right?
True.
Be a twist.
Is there any other strong? A little bit of predictions.
Yeah.
I was thinking cartographers.
That's possible.
Ooh,
I believe that was available in Germany. I think it was in German. By the right time.
Pegasus released.
I have other ones.
And Pegasus also just announced, along with Thunderworks, new standalone cartographers game, as well as 3 expansion map packs. So gone over well.
Awesome.
Yes, in both Germany and the US.
So was it eligible there, Eric?
Yes, because it was out at Spiel. Any game available from April 1st through March 30th of the next year is eligible for nomination. I mean, there's some slight flux with those dates, but that's generally the window. And the game has gone through 2 print runs already and going to a 3rd print run now in Germany. So it's gone over well.
So we've got the crew, D-Crew, cartographers. Anybody got any others? I have some, but I'll let you guys go. You got any other predictions?
Potentially Nova Luna. That is the Uwe Rosenberg Korn von Moorsel game from. Who did that one? Is it Edition Spielweise?
Spielwiese.
Yeah.
Spielwiese.
Yeah. So that's potential. And I don't know. There's been a lot. I mean, I was thinking back about what is actually because some of the games are just available in English. In Germany. So games from 2 years ago could be in the running. I know that.
What was that game we were talking about last night that we were thinking from 2 years just came out?
Fox in the Forest.
Fox in the Forest.
Yeah, that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just came out in Germany this last year.
Oh, yeah.
Codenames Duet.
No,
Is that
the
just
Fox in the Forest duet just
Oh,
came
Fox in the
out.
Forest duet.
I didn't know if that's
Correct.
what you were talking about.
No, just the.
But that's only in English.
Yeah, I think that the
Original.
Yeah, the new one, the original one came out just in Germany just in the last year. So there's a lot of new games that have been, it's a different scene essentially that's going on in Germany because of the release times, right? Some things they obviously get before us, and then that's usually the surprise. Like, what is that game I never heard of? They're nominating, and then sometimes it's stuff that's been out for a little while. So it's cool though. I'm glad that there's some variety, and I like being surprised by the nominees. I just hope the crew gets nominated. I mean, once again, I'm rooting for something, but maybe it'll even win. I don't know. I know Eric loves it.
The chat seems to think Tiny Towns, which I think is actually probably a good guess as well.
That's Is that a Kenner?
That is a solid guess.
Which
Kenner.
is available in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Wavelength out in time there, Eric? And did it go in German?
I released it at the beginning of the year. I'd have to look up the release date. It's right on that cusp. There's a lot of spring releases that kind of possibly just get available, kind of like the Oscars when studios release movies in late December just to get
I know for me, I feel like it all just kind of blends together. I can't keep the timeline straight. When did any of these games come out? When I saw the Board Game Geek nominations, that was like, oh yeah, those games all kind of came out in the last year. But if you asked me to list them, I would not have been certain. I feel like the deluge of games, there's so many of them coming all the time. I just can't keep any of them in a timeline anymore.
Well,
yes, but
fair.
You don't have to.
I know, and I think a lot of games that were coming out in March, I think that they actually kind of went. I was told that they kind of went back a little bit with the timeline because of the situation with the availability and everything this year. So some of the titles, because one of the ones that was going to come out that we were excited about for a children's nomination was Dodo, and that game, I believe it even just got pushed back in general, which is too bad because that game's fantastic. But we were talking with Tom Wetzel about it, and he was saying it's an expensive game, so it might not even make it to the United States, which is too bad because, I mean, it's $40. I don't think that's too expensive, especially because I want to play that game.
You're a little biased.
I am biased. I definitely want to. For kids game?
It's a kids game, right?
Yeah, but at the
I think we
production.
can
Yes.
import it, right? We can import it.
Oh no, I will. I'll get it for
We
sure.
can,
someday.
yeah. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, as a
Widespread availability for sure.
Right.
What else?
yeah. So that's the agenda for the
Oh, but
BGG Con
Mandala,
Online.
Mandala,
Also-
right, Eric?
Oh, Mandala. Yeah.
That was this year. It won a two-player award. That's potential, right? Especially now with the isolation, that might be high on the list.
I'm gonna order it.
I don't know if that's really a consideration. That'll be interesting this year.
See if they
I
respond
wonder.
to the coronavirus. They might.
They've been quarantined for 2 months. Pretty strong in Germany too. Pretty heavy. They can't play. Does Gonen
So
Conan? I
maybe a
don't know.
two-player game.
I didn't like Gonen Conan. Did any of
You
guys
didn't like
Gonen
it?
Conan?
Did you play it?
Didn't play
I did.
Oh wow! I
It just
really
felt
like
like it kept going on and on and on forever. Like it was just endless. Like we were always just not short. We were always just like coming up short, or like, you get, and then you got a lot of the what do they call it? The breaks, what are those called? Or what are those, like the consolations?
Them's the breaks. I don't know.
What do they call them? Oh, we're getting rated. Who's rating
if
us?
you don't score after the 3 rolls, you add 2 numbers, or you just
Well,
add
100 people. Holy crap, that's amazing. Jeez. Hello, everybody. Reaper Miniatures.
we rated.
What just happened?
We
There's
got
a
rated.
huge influx of raiders. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
Board Game Geek
Show.
Show. Yeah.
Is that a
Talk
good
about-
thing? Did something bad just happen? Do I need to go defend myself?
That's right. Rated.
know.
Look at that.
My weapon.
Um,
I got a pencil.
Skulls. Reapers. There's a lot of Reaper skulls coming in here.
Yay.
That's amazing. Hey, everybody. That's cool.
What about
where were
Parks?
we?
Was that released? I
That's
That's what Scott was saying.
Yeah,
Parks.
I forgot about Parks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all a question of whether it was out in Germany.
Right, I don't
See,
know.
it's impossible to keep straight. Who knows
don't
when any of
know.
these games came out? Only Eric
I know.
knows.
Actually, I don't know.
Only Eric knows.
I
I wonder how they
I'm not
keep
sure.
track of it all. Like, I wonder how the jury keeps track. They must have a database or something, like, for the games that are
imagine.
eligible to be nominated.
But I also believe the reviewer, right? Since they're all review people, they probably get the new games, right? So they keep track of what they're interested in. Because I believe they introduce them to the other jury members. Hey, what about this game? This game's great. They have probably a Discord channel or something that they all communicate, or some sort of blog or something. I don't know. What are you going to say, Eric?
I just looked up. Parks is coming from Feuerland this year, so no, not
So
eligible.
no, maybe next year.
All right.
No award for you.
It's kind of confusing, right? Because it's always weird for us to be on the cutting edge, like the U.S.
Well,
Like,
only,
how
yeah,
is that ever
some of the
happened?
releases, right?
For some stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. It's that quirky
So another thing,
background.
before I forget, I've tried to remind myself 3 times, but we've been talking about interesting things. The Brothers Murph are going to do a game show Wednesday
On
night.
Wednesday, yes.
At-
After 4
After
o'clock.
the show. So
Pacific
4 p.m. Pacific.
PD time. Yeah. So
So,
it's a trivia game, and we'll be involved in it. That'll be fun.
I'm hoping we can get some prizes. We'll at least give some gift certificates to the Board Game Geek store away, so that'll be good. At minimum.
Cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah. I've played their game. If it's the same game, it's fun. It's like a trivia game. It's like I don't know. Got a couple different games there. Okay.
Is it
also,
something viewers will be able to play along with, or how's that?
yes,
gonna work?
yes. So you'll go to
Absolutely. Oh, cool.
it'll be like another website where you make your selections. It's like it was like a trivia
right.
game. When I played it, it was like, which game is ranked higher? Or is Agricola ranked higher than Caverna? Like
Are we
was
going to
one of
have
the
to?
questions.
Are we going to have to dance like the Brothers Murph though?
They
if
must
we're
have been
involved?
so exhausted. They must have been so
will.
exhausted after that because they danced the whole time. It was
Yeah.
like an hour.
I don't know. They always have enough energy for everything, so I think they're always good. They don't run out of energy.
Right. Okay. So I'm glad I remember that. Okay. So now next thing, BGG virtual gaming event, which we're calling Virtual BGG Spring, but the name is probably going to change because some stuff is happening, and that stuff is right after I get done with here. I'm making a phone call and finalizing everything, so I will let you know. There you go.
Stay tuned.
That's the virtual gaming convention where you get to play online with people,
Yeah,
where you can host
Ju-
games.
that's late June, potentially early July.
Exactly. If you have been following the news lately, you might be able to predict what it might be. Okay. Mysterious, right?
Ooh.
Oh,
wait.
we had the Golden Geek Awards, too. We
It's gotta
announced
be
the
Animal
winners.
Crossing
What?
tie-in.
When?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last week.
Which
Last
game
Wednesday.
won?
That's
Or was
right.
it last Monday? Or I Time is like a
It's
very
last week.
malleable thing now in my
Last
mind. I
week.
just can't remember.
Which
Did
one game
Wingspan come out
won?
in Germany
Yeah,
last year?
I think it won last year.
It was the ostrich. The game won. You know that game, the ostrich? You guys play
Yes.
No.
I have.
that? Oh no, I'm kidding. It's Wingspan. Wingspan won 8 categories.
Yeah.
So
Which is
maybe
cool.
I'll
And
tell
Watergate.
which is
also.
awesome. I mean, that's kind of an amazing achievement. A lot of people
Yeah.
were not happy about that. I'm sorry, everybody. Sorry, your game didn't win. But I looked at the votes. It was not even close. Like in any of the categories. Not even like within 100 votes. Not even within 500 votes. So good job, Elizabeth Hargrave, for getting all the people to vote for that game. That was kind of amazing.
Did she make
Hey,
the
people
call
like
to
that
get
game.
everybody out there?
She must have done the bird call. The bird call went out and like brought all the birds to the yard and like they voted. So it's interesting. There
Her
are
bird call
700
brings all the bird to the. Her bird call brings all the birds to the yard.
You got it right there. Rick. I set it up for you. So just to put some things in perspective, there's 790 posts on the thread. Most of them are negative. But even if all 790 of you complaining voted, you still wouldn't have won anything. So put that in perspective.
Well,
And
I think
it's what
generates
often
an
happens.
interesting
The people
I think it. Yeah. Go ahead.
who are happy don't say anything. They just say, "Oh, that's
Right.
cool. Yeah, I really like
Yeah,
that game." And then everyone who's disappointed and goes and talks about it and sort of puts it out there.
Yeah.
That's a common.
I think there was some interesting conversation generated around the categories and people wanting how that works, and that's a natural thing for people to talk about, right? And it's a forum, so people are going to
I get it. I'm always mad when stuff doesn't win the Oscars. Except this year, my movie did win the Oscars. That was Parasite, and everybody
It was
was
your year.
mad as hell. They were so mad because it
a great
won
movie.
Best Foreign Film and Best Movie of the Year. Like, how could it possibly win both? Anyway, kind of weird. I want to go through some of the other games because a lot of people overshadowed all of the other winners and the runners-up. Or do you want to just go? We'll just go through that real quick. For Game of the Year, the winner was Wingspan, obviously. Runner-up was Paladins of the West Kingdom, and runner-up Tapestry. Both games I really like. Although, you know what? I have not played Paladins of the West Kingdom. I'm thinking of a different West Kingdom game. Thinking of the other
Architects.
one. Architects, yeah.
I play Paladins. I really like it.
There you
Twice.
go. Lincoln Lights.
BGG show and after. We really dug it.
And a game I know Rodney loves.
Or BGG show game night.
For two-player game, Watergate won
Yes.
that.
Watergate.
It's a great game. I love it.
We did good, everybody.
Yeah. Runner-up, Undaunted Normandy, and Blitzkrieg World War II in 20 minutes.
Yeah, also great.
So I haven't played either one of those. I haven't played any of those two-player games. So I need to get some two-player gaming in with Michelle. I don't know which one she would like the most, though. Maybe Watergate?
Probably Watergate.
Watergate.
Yeah.
Watergate, yeah.
She would like that one.
For best artwork and presentation, it's Wingspan, Parks runner-up, and Tapestry runner-up.
Yeah.
Parks is
I love
so
good
Parks is so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Parks
I mean,
is amazing.
Wingspan is too, but goodness gracious.
They're all great. I mean, I went
Yeah.
back and looked at the Wingspan cards again. I'm like, they're amazing. It's just
I know, it's
Yeah,
a lot
they
of
are
art.
amazing.
It's a lot of art. The best
And the
card game,
production.
this is controversial. Yeah, the production is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The eggs are they're like those Cadbury eggs.
Yeah.
You don't need
The Robin's
Just
eggs.
don't eat
They're
them.
dangerous.
The Robin's
Yeah.
eggs.
Robin's eggs. For best card game, and this is controversial, and I don't know if we want to debate it here, if Wingspan is a card game or not. We'll save that for another time. But Wingspan did win the best card game. I think it's a card game, personally. Runner-up, The Crew. Runner-up. So that kind of is a Rob, maybe. And then Marvel Champions, the card game. Is that a card game? It has pieces. And so does The Crew.
I think I would say it's
Maybe
great.
I think all that
90%
stuff
card
is
game.
all that's going to fall
That's
down on
right.
what percentage of content is card
Are
versus
you
isn't.
using cards? Yeah.
I'm sure Eric is very opinionated on it. Eric, right? Do you have an opinion on that? not a card game, right?
90% of the contents of the box, aside from the insert, must be cards. If you have at
Okay.
least 90% cards, then it's a card game. That's my rule.
Is the
So
90%
Wingspan
based
is
on
not a-
size
is not a card
or
game.
Mass.
mass?
What if there's like
Mass.
a board with the cards? Does that count as a card game?
Does
Like Lost Cities.
exactly? That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
That's right. 90% of lost cards.
Okay.
Okay.
That was controversial.
I mean, you can
So-
throw the board out and
Yeah.
play.
Right.
You don't need
You
that.
can, yeah. You don't need the board.
Maybe
Yeah.
Fox and the Forest Duet's a better example because you do integrally use the board in that case for the game.
Yes. So that'd be a board
But I
game
would still
with
call that a
cards.
card
So your idea of a card game is it can be played without anything else. You just need the cards. That's it.
I mean, that makes sense to me too.
Well, Wingspan wouldn't work
Okay.
because you need the eggs, you need the
Right.
dice,
You need other things.
you need tokens. All right, but it's still a card game. All right, best cooperative game was The Crew. So it did win best cooperative game. Should I have paused for laughter there?
That's it.
All right, The Crew finally won something. Cooperative game, which it probably should have. Like, that game's amazingly cooperative.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't played
So
any
good.
more cooperative type of game than that in a while. Runner-up was Marvel Champions, which I quite like, and Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth, which I know you guys played a bunch. Or Steph has
I
played a
love
bunch,
it.
right? You love
I
it.
played it all the way through and more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's really, really great. And we got near the end, but we didn't make it. So we ended up dying.
Oh,
Now I
can
need
you
to play
die?
it again.
Can you die in there? Oh, so you have to play.
wasn't- Yeah. But,
So I know in that game, if you fail, you just go to the next mission, but it changes sort of the.
yeah,
a little
eventually
dynamic.
it comes to a timeline, and if you don't beat a level, you don't progress. So we got through a couple of those, but then we ended up not finishing our mission.
Right.
Aragorn is more of a support character, so he's my favorite, of course. But
course.
so with 2 players, he's not as good as if it were like a 4-player game. So I'll try like Gandalf next time or something.
Interesting. So you played the same character all through the whole mess?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
Aragorn.
interesting how much of a theme gamer I feel you are, and you say you hate theme. So it's.
Oh, if it's Lord of the Rings, I love theme. If it's zombies, I hate theme. I don't love
Okay.
theme.
It's so funny.
See, that's the beauty of the gaming community. There is no consensus on anything, and everyone has their wild rules, and they're all equally convinced that their wild rules about how things should work are the only sensible one. And you put all those people together, and you're going to get conflicts, right?
Yeah, I like theme, but I mean, if it's Lord of the Rings, I'm bound to like the game a little bit better because I love Lord of the Rings.
Right.
We need to play the Lord of the Rings cooperative game. I think you told me you didn't play that ever before, so we need to play that.
Right.
The original, the
Yeah.
OG.
The
Lord
We're
of the
OG.
Rings.
supposed
I've
to
never
play
played
it in April, however,
Original game.
things change.
Original game. Okay, moving on. Best expansion was Wingspan. That's the 8th award that
Yeah.
pushed it over the edge.
Right.
If they only won 7, it would have been like, whatever. But the 8th one, that was it, the expansion. Because it beat my favorite expansion, which is the Quaxaquedlinburg Herb Witches. Herb Witches.
Herb.
Herbie.
It's a great expansion. It's really good.
It is. It's such a good expansion. And then Terraforming Mars Turmoil, which I have not played. But there's so many Terraforming Mars. Best family game. Anybody have an opinion on those? On that? Anybody play the expansion of Wingspan yet?
Nope.
Not yet.
I
I
haven't.
haven't.
I think
I listened to. I've been stalking Elizabeth Hargrave. She's been doing the circuit. She's been on
I know.
everything. And she basically stealth announced that there's going to be an expansion for every continent.
Oh wow.
I was like, what? So we just have European.
that was announced a
Now
long
it's-
time ago, I thought.
Oh, was it? Okay, well, then it's news to me.
If it
That's
was
a lot of
official, but it was
expansion.
pretty much stated along those
Okay.
lines.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they had announced initially that the second one would be the Oceano one for Australia,
yeah.
sort of in support of the fires in Australia, and who remembers that at this point? So it's kind
Oh
of
yeah.
Well.
I remember that was a thing last year.
yeah.
Oh.
you're-
Earlier this year.
So
Was it
Yeah,
this year?
earlier this. Yeah.
Who can keep track?
it was announced earlier
When was
this
World
year,
War II?
but coming out.
Do you guys remember when the biggest thing was how to get a Popeyes hot chicken sandwich? Remember that?
I do.
I do not.
That was my big dilemma of the year.
Just earlier
Okay,
this year.
so just earlier this year, like 5 years ago now. Okay, family game, Wingspan, of course. Azul Summer Pavilion, very solid
Love it.
Azul game. We like.
Yeah. Yep.
And runner-up Tiny Towns. Like those 3 games right there alone, those are awesome. Like there's
Right.
no reason those should not really be all at the same level.
Is Tiny Towns in German? Eric, is that up? You think that's up? For
Yes,
a
it
chance?
is.
So.
Sweet.
I think so.
It's
Oh, cool.
out. It seems. I don't know. I've seen people talk about it, how it's kind of between family and connoisseur. Like it's a little more involved and laying out all the different categories of buildings. And you have this variety here. So is it a little too complicated for families? I have no idea.
Keeping like 8 rules in your head at one time is hard, right? Like it's like one too many buildings. Like I'm always like, what does that building do? You know, obviously you keep playing it over and over, you would get it. But the first play is a lot of
daunting.
Tools.
Yep,
A lot of.
I think so.
Cool.
What category?
Where did I go?
You're
Innovative.
yeah.
Innovative. This is another
Wingspan.
controversial one because
Yeah.
people say Wingspan is not innovative. I think it's borders the line of innovative. I don't know any other bird games out there.
Well, but I mean,
that have such a breadth of coverage.
right? Yeah. Plus, it does some new things. I mean, I like the going down the your each area, activating the cards and things like that. It's fun. It makes that game. That's what makes that game for me. Actually, is figuring out how to link those things
combo,
together. Yeah. It's a different way of doing that kind of combo triggering thing. I thought it's really great. And
Runner-up was the crew.
The crew,
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead,
Right.
guys. Yeah. Did you say something?
Well, I was going to say I understand that instinctive reaction because you think of games like Keyforge and I go, well, that's a very innovative, like that's so wildly different, or like deck building is so wildly different when that came out, and it sort of hits you that way. Whereas Wingspan doesn't necessarily, its innovation isn't what shouts out at you. Like that's not the first thing I think people see.
It's true.
And that doesn't mean it doesn't have innovation. It means that's not the thing that people kind of think about or talk about the most, I think, when they think of that game. Not that I can speak for everybody, but either. But
Yeah,
right.
because the runners-up are quite innovative. The crew and Wavelength. Like Wavelength came out of nowhere for me. Like I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then the crew obviously blew everybody away. I mean, some people played the crew for like 40 hours at BGG Con. They played like the whole time.
I thought that was just Eric.
That was Eric.
No,
Adam and Steph.
Adam and
Steph, they played it a lot.
And the
people
whole
brought
group.
their own copies, and people would take it out of the library and then hand it back, and another member of their group would take it out again, and so they just kept it rotating.
Loophole, library loophole.
Yes, it is. But.
Okay. Party game. Wavelength. I agree with that. Wavelength. Letter Jam and Men at Work, which I don't know if those are party. I don't think I would play Letter Jam at a party game as a party. Like it's not fun. It's not fun.
I don't think Men at Work is a party game.
I don't laugh. I mean, party game, board game geeker people do not know what party game is.
Come on, when I hear Men at Work, I want to party. I mean, I come from a land down
Who could it be
under.
now?
Yeah.
Who could it be now?
Who could it be now?
But
Be good, Johnny. Come on, be good. It's party.
Be good. I quite like the second album a little better than the first.
It's a mistake and stuff like that.
It's a mistake. It's a mistake and overkill and all that stuff. Okay.
Innovative.
Just stuff's like, what are you guys talking about? I have no clue what you're talking about.
Innovative.
He's so young. Okay. Innovative.
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 I think the way you say innovative is very innovative.
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 Okay, so I'm saying that for Rado, by the way. Just,
Okay.
We have a little joke about that. Of course, he's watching, right, Rado? You're in here. Okay.
The ghost.
Best print and play. Best print and play is Tiny Forming Mars, which sounds great. Under Falling Skies, a 9-card print and play game, which I've heard that's amazing. Yeah, that looked amazing. Yeah. And then Roll Estate. So I will have to try some of those. I suspect Tiny Forming Mars is going to get snatched up and made into a real Terraforming Mars product, I would think.
The Fricks family definitely controls that stuff. I don't know that they would. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe allow a certain designer.
It'll be like Dark Moon.
Yeah, BSG Express or whatever, right?
Yeah, which became Dark Moon, right?
Yeah,
so exactly.
Could be.
Okay.
Terraforming
Venus, as they'll change it. They might get in trouble for that one.
Right. Okay, solo game. Here's another controversial one, Wingspan. I think some people feel like solo game awards should only be for games that were made for solo. What do you guys think about that?
I mean,
Instead of
it's
having
got,
a solo
people
variant
think
in the box.
it's got a solo thing in the box. That's pretty important. You
It's
know,
got an
people
AI
ask about that all the
on phone.
time.
But the question really,
Yeah.
I think, is how many of the people who voted for Wingspan actually have played the solo variant of Wingspan? They might have just voted for Wingspan in every category because they love Wingspan
I
so much.
suspect that's
Yeah.
the case, Steph. Yeah, you're probably right.
So it might have a great solo experience, like Terraform Mars, for example. I really love the solo game, so I would say that's a great solo experience. I would vote for that. So it's I don't know. It's just who's voting because they actually love the solo experience. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a tough year. Marvel Champions won runner-up, and Twice as Clever, which are both not solo games either, right? Like specifically made as solo.
Right.
And honestly, there hardly are very many strictly solo games
One-player
released a
only.
year. It'd be like under 5, I would think.
Yeah, like Proving Grounds from
so it's a
Renegade
hard
Games,
category.
maybe.
Well, Friedemann
Only
does.
If you add in the
It's
war
done a
game
few of those.
category,
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Friedman does a bunch.
Or
war
has
game
done
category
some.
has a ton.
Okay,
true.
so
Yeah.
Wingspan won family game. It also won strategy game. Best strategy.
Yeah, that one.
That's another controversy. I think it's a strategy game personally. I don't think Wingspan is a family game. It's like really, it's a higher end family game, right? A higher difficulty kind of.
Yeah, I don't think my family would want to play Wingspan.
You never know. The theme really appeals
Yeah, that
to a
was a
lot of
big-
people. That is why so
yeah,
many
big
people
fan.
voted for it.
That's
Why it's
true,
won
it's
both
true.
categories. yeah. That's why I won
Right.
both categories. Runner up was Maracaibo, my personal favorite from last year.
Yeah, that
Maracaibo.
hands down best.
And Paladins of the
Love it.
West Kingdom also won best strategy or runner up. Thematic game is a 20-year-old game called Dune. I think it's 20 something years old, maybe even longer.
30. Yeah, it's 25 or at least or something. It's old.
Come out in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
86, I think.
Well, 86 makes it 34 years old. Yeah.
34 years old. So a 34-year-old game won best thematic game. I thought Star Wars Outer Rim was going to win because that's like super thematic. You're doing bounty hunting and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then Lord of the Rings Journeys of the North was runner-up as well as Star Wars. I have not played Dune, and
Dune
I will
is-
never probably will never play because my group played last year at BGG Con and they hated it. They said we're never playing that again. It's a tough game. Like it's got a lot of conflict, right? And they just destroyed them. So it's a specific type of group. I get
It's
it.
actually
It's
It's actually from what?
1979.
Okay, wow. Even so, 41 years
So-
ago.
41 years old. It's older. It's almost as old as me. I'm older.
It's
or
older
almost as
than
old as
me.
Brock.
Yeah. It's
It's old.
a couple of years off.
Yeah.
Couple years off. Okay. War game Undaunted Normandy, which I watched being played with Joel Eddy, and he looked like he really liked it. And then U-Boot, the board game, and Blitzkrieg World War II in 20 minutes. So that's a controversial win. Most war games that win the BGG Award, Golden Geek Awards, are not like hardcore war games. Like I think a lot of war gamers would not.
Where did
classify it as war.
Wingspan come in on that category?
Wingspan well, yeah.
Look,
a
you
release
think
buzzer.
nature's all feathers and fun, but it's a lot of fighting.
Well, when you think about
right.
birds, everybody loves their calls, but I think that a lot of that's just they're angry and they're barking at other birds. So it's
angry,
it's a war.
They drop
Absolutely.
bombs when they fly overhead.
Nikki
It's-
loves the bird song. I'm like, they're yelling at each other, Nikki.
They're angry.
Angry birds. We've heard of that before, haven't we?
In a surprising upset, Wingspan won Best Podcast. That was a big
Yeah,
surprise for
what?
everybody.
But I get it. I get it.
Ha ha! That joke doesn't get old. Winner was Heavy Cardboard. Thankfully, finally, he's been
thankfully.
in there for every year, and that's a great podcast. So congratulations, Edward, and all the rest of the team that makes that show. Runner-up was So Very Wrong About Games and the No Pun Included podcast. So Efka and
Elaine.
And
yeah.
I don't know who runs. I think this So Very Wrong About Games. I heard it was the guy who used to do the Everything You Know About Games all the games you like are
Correct.
bad. I think it's the same
Yeah, that's
person.
the same.
I need to go listen to that because I love that guy on YouTube, and he stopped doing the videos. Cool. Best board game app was Through the Ages, New Leaders and Wonders, which is fantastic if you want to learn how to play Through the Ages. It's great. Runner-up is Raiders of the North Sea, which I played recently, and that's awesome too. And Twice as Clever, Double So Clever. I have not played that, but I heard it's good.
Oh my god, I'm highly addicted.
So those are all pretty good apps. So that's your Golden Geeks for 2019, the 14th year we've been doing this. The Geekies have been running for 14 years. We're going to make some changes next year. So if you follow Twitter, Elizabeth Hargrave came up with an amazing categorization suggestion, which I think we're going to implement next year, and that will basically stop games from being nominated in several categories that they probably shouldn't be nominated in. I'm not sure what to do about card games and stuff, though, and solo games. Still need some help with that. Maybe we'll do that.
It's
90% content of is cards. I mean, that makes sense. It does make sense. I mean,
we just have to put them in the lab.
Because there's lots of card games that get ignored if something like Wingspan wins. Yeah, exactly.
The problem is always going to be those games that fall right close to whatever rule you make up. You know.
Yeah.
You're never going to make everyone happy.
I think we just put it in a Ziploc bag and we displace the water of the volume of the game. We take the cards, put that in a Ziploc bag, do it, displace the water, then do the box itself. Then we have to have like this huge vat for the big games. How much does that place? Oh, the cards are like 1%. That's not happening. I mean, because Wingspan there are a lot of components. I agree with Scott that it kind of really is. It is a card game, but it ignores a lot of real card games.
It feels like a card game to me. I'm drafting cards. I'm buying cards. I'm playing cards. I'm making things do on the cards. The board is there just to hold, like, to show some references and, like, I don't know.
I agree.
Before I forget, in the chat, who asked that? I want to mention your name. Mini Canadian. Mini Canadian's in the chat, Rodney. You know Mini Canadian?
Hey! Of course I know Mini Canadian. Just down the street.
Of course.
Yes.
So, Elizabeth Hargrave made a suggestion on Twitter. She said, "Why don't you just categorize the games by weight?" And I said, "That is a great idea. So we can have 3 categorizations. We can have light, medium, and heavy. Done. Right? So simple." Yeah. She also suggested renaming the thematic category to narrative. She's amazing. We've made her the queen of Board Game Geek, by the way, Elizabeth. If you're watching this, I sent you your crown. You got in the micro badge system. So,
wow.
Wear that with pride. Elizabeth Hargrave is the queen of BGG. I mean, it just came like 2 things she said in like the span of a night. I'm like, blew my mind, right? Like that's what we need is more people thinking differently.
I think you should make another category for the awards. The person who's helped the awards the most, you can win that one too.
Sure, next year. In multiple ways.
Cool. We have not put a logo out for that yet. We were still tweaking it. It wasn't quite right. So we're gonna make that logo finishing and then send out the medals. You get your
the new Golden Geeks, yeah.
There was the
redesign. The redesign changed our approach on it several times, and we're kind of back to where we were.
We are, but different.
Yes, same but different.
Someone else talk. I think that's it for the news.
Well, let's go into who's played what.
Yeah, who's played what?
But let's start with Steph. If you want a chance to breathe, let Steph go.
Yeah.
I can talk about games for all day. What are you trying to say? Well, so I got to play a couple online games with Board and Dice Rainer. And so he taught me the new T games. So I got to play Tekenu and Tawantinsuyu.
You did both.
I want to sue you.
You want to sue me? What the heck?
I don't want to sue you. They're both amazing. And so I've been trying to schedule online groups to play them more and more. And so I just learned Tawantinsuyu the other day, and it was very exciting. There's so much to do. I don't know if you've seen the board or if a picture of it, but it's like a pentagon with tons of symbols, tons and tons of symbols.
Oh yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, they did a recent post about it, and I think it's going to be out later this summer. But it's
is this a standalone?
It's very simple. It's a very simple game with a lot of options. So you're either
going
to be
I was going to ask
worker.
you, which one's heavier, you think?
Which
one's the more complicated?
Tekenu?
Okay.
Okay, so deeper is Tawantinsuyu.
Okay.
And but Takenu has a dice drafting mechanic, and everything is very clear on the board. So what you're doing is you have a strategy and you go for it. I mean, there's lots of paths you can take, and so you're going to want to pick something and go for it. But I think all of the little nitty gritty of Tawan Tensuyu will blow your mind because there's so much to do, but there's not much, like, you're either placing a worker or you're taking secondary actions, and that's it. However, what you do with your worker, what you're getting to do with the adjacency of your worker, and all these different things, it's skyrocket how much you can do. It's like incredible. So there's so many strategies. So that one has me thinking a lot more, I think, while they're both great. So, okay. And the expansion for Teotihuacan came out, and so I've been playing that, and I love all their games.
That's cool. Did you get to play?
It's been very exciting.
Is Tawan Tensuyu another? Wasn't there another game from? Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on it. It was like a white cardboard box, and then it got reprinted as another game. Eric, maybe you can help me. Remember those?
Oh,
the
Alan Ernstine one, yeah.
Alan Ernstine, yeah. Hangman Games, right? Is that the same title?
It sounds right. I have that game.
I believe so. The Rio Grande reprint.
Yep. Cool. Well, there's another Tawan Tensuyu game. That's.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I think. I mean, I'm just. Something in my memory triggered about that name, and I just remembered the one.
Is absolutely.
From Alan.
I'm pretty sure that's the name. Rodney, what have you been playing?
Well, the game I most recently played is this one here called the Alpha, and this is from the people who make the bicycle cards, right? Playing cards. It's from them.
U.S. Playing Card Company. Bicycle U.S. Playing Card Company. Yeah.
Right. Yes, exactly. And they've released a couple of board games, and this is one of the first ones they've released. It's called the Alpha. They say it's a light strategy game. I would agree with that. It's fairly light. It's kind of a push your luck type of game. I don't know. It's got a nice insert, but I totally messed that up when I lifted it sideways. Okay, so in the game, each player is a pack of little wolves. So you get a bunch of little wolf. They're not meeples, but they're neat little wolf figures. And that's your little wolf pack, and every player has their own little den where they all start on. And then around the board, so there's a board. Here's the board. Around the board, which is sort of the track. We're all going to have one of our wolves on the track, and we're trying to advance up the track. So it's showing our hunting prowess, basically, because around the board there's going to be these other smaller boards. There'll be a certain random number of these and different ones. And the whole game is simply, at the start of the round, I pick one of my wolves from my den, and I decide which one of these boards to assign to. I can put it on this one. Maybe I want to go hunting some beaver. Maybe I just want to go scavenge. Maybe I want some fish. And then each one of these, or most of them, will have a die that's related to it. And so you'll take turns going around and around until everyone has placed all their wolves. And then you'll resolve the location by rolling the die. And that will tell you how much fish is there. Sometimes you'll get an X, which means there's no fish there and everyone sort of loses out. But you can see what the sides of the die are here. If you are tied with another player for having the most of your wolves at that location, then you'll have to decide what's going to happen. Every player will have one of these tokens, and you can either fight or set it to share. So privately, we each put this underneath the table, and then we reveal. If everyone shares, then you'll go back and forth sharing the food. If everyone fights, then instead of eating, you fought. So you actually wound one of your wolves. You'll lose them for the next round. You won't get any food. If somebody fights and someone shares, the person who fought gets everything. It's that sort of, we've seen that kind of dilemma type of thing before in different games. This is that same kind of aspect. What kind of gets interesting, though, if you have two people who fought, and there's a third player at that location, they get to eat because they weren't involved in the fight. They were just waiting. Okay, you guys want to fight? Great, I'm going to eat now. Thanks. So there's a push your luck element to it. There's a little area control thing happening there as well, right? As you assign your wolves, trying to figure out which ones you want to go to. The different locations are either in the deep forest up above the board, or they're in the near forest here. If you go to the deep forest, that tends to be more lucrative. That's where you're going to find things like the bison with the big values. But it costs you food to go to those locations because you're going a further distance, right? So it's got like a bunch of very simple, basic things happening all in one game. I played this for the first time yesterday with my two kids, And we all had a fun time. They really enjoyed it. They liked the push your luck aspect of it. I think if you're somebody who doesn't enjoy, hey, I put all my wolves on this location, and then I rolled the die and I got the X, and therefore I don't get to eat anything. I don't, then that might be a turnoff for some people. But it's a very quick playing game, so it's not like you're investing 3 hours and then a die roll is coming down to decide whether you win or lose. So there you go. That's the
I
outcome.
love wolves, so I definitely want to try this one. So
Okay, so I didn't need to say any of that. I could have just shown you the cover, and
yeah,
Steph was fine.
I just need to see wolves, and then I'm good.
That's like,
I
it
went
reminds
over
me of
some-
that wolf shirt. You've seen those wolf shirts?
Yes, with the moon.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure Steph
Rodney,
has
you're
one.
really good. Rodney, you're
I
really
do.
good at
I have-
describing
I
games.
have
I think
two
you should do that
blankets,
for a
too.
living.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott. I'll consider it. No
It's
one's
really,
ever told me
I mean,
that.
and you did that like, we're live, by the way. There was no cuts, no breaks, no mess ups. Like, it was perfectly smooth. Like, 5 minutes ago, you figured out you were going to talk about that game, and like, here we are.
Yes.
You're really good at that.
I thought that was a little bit
Keep it
frenetic,
up.
but thank you. Okay, I'll keep it up. All right. Okay, well, what about you, Eric? You got anything you've been playing? Uh-oh, Eric looks frozen.
We lost
Or
him.
he's just saying no. I'm heaven. He's thinking deeply about it, everybody.
That's a free. I should not have said that we're live. I shouldn't have said that.
What about you, Lincoln? You got something for us?
Yes, I did. I played Jamie Stegmeier's Rolling Realms, which is now V10,
yes.
and we actually played V9, and Nikki taught it to us on Game Night Live 2 weeks ago, and it is fantastic.
Tell me about this one. I'm curious.
So the neat thing is it's 9 different modules on the board, and you can choose which 3. You're going to play 3 of them each round, and so there'll be 3 rounds, and they interplay with each other in some ways. Some of the modules, and
Okay.
it's. You would think, oh, this is. First of all, you're like, what? And then you're like, wow, thematically. You see the theme in each of the games because they're based on Stonemaier games.
Right,
And
that's right.
there's
Each
a
module
wingspan
is one of the
module.
games,
Yes.
right. Yeah.
And you can see the connection and how they work. And it's the perfect, what can I do with what I have? And you can never do enough, right? The goals for each 3 of them is so great. Like you have to target something that you're going to work on. And it's really, really fun. And it's a print and play, so you can get it out and play it right now as he's developing it. And Jamie's going to join us on the BGG show next Tuesday, BGG show Game Night live next Tuesday at 10:30 Pacific. And he's going to teach us the V10 version of the game, and we're all going to play it. And there's actually an app available now. I think it's a web app that you can play the sheet online, so you don't have to print them out. A fan of the game and a fan of Stonemaier put that together, and Jamie sent me the link yesterday. And it's really fun because you can gain like resources to do things with it. You have coins allow you to reuse dice, I think is what it was, Scott. Is that correct? And then and you constantly want to do that because you need it, but you can only place in one module. You can't reuse the same die for the same module, or or do things in the same roll in more than one, each die in more than one module. And so I think I actually did that by accident one time. I tried to do it at the end of the game, and then I realized previously, I'm like, hey, I might have done that before. It's hard to remember because you're like looking to do as much as possible. And so basically, when you take another die roll, you're only going to go in one of the other modules, one of the 3 modules. You'll be able to place in each module. But it's really great. I actually was terrible at using the other resources, either gaining them or using them. The second, I think we played it, or maybe it was the 3rd round where I started to actually use them more. Because they all go away after each round. So all your resources, you score 0.1 points for everything. So they do get added into your point total, but then you clear them off, and then you develop resources again for the next round. It's very, very good. I cannot actually wait for that to come out as a real game. It's really fun. I think Scott was surprised by it too, how much he enjoyed it.
Yes. It's amazing. It's the best free game you're going to play this year. Like it's a
No
one-page
kidding.
print.
Yes.
It blew me away. I was shocked. I was like, well, whatever, thinking he did
That's
it
what
for the
that's what I thought when I saw it.
pandemic,
I should.
right?
Yeah. Wow.
Exactly. I judged a book by its cover. I was like, how good could it be, right? But it's
And
real
also,
good.
I have to say,
And
like, I think
it's deep
the theme
and
of
like,
it.
yeah.
The theme of it made, when I just saw it was a bunch of his games in a thing, I thought, oh, this is some kind of marketing thing. It's not actually a game. You know, I wrote it off too quickly.
I was skeptical.
Yeah,
I was for sure skeptical.
You definitely shouldn't write it off. It's really great. It's a great single-player game, too. You can totally play it by yourself. It's really well done, and it's perfect for this. Like, we were able to play online. We did so we actually played with some friends via Zoom and via Skype, where we took the picture of the board, and then we actually had 2 calls. One was the capture with the webcam of the board, and then we had us in the other shot, so everybody could see everything of the die rolls and all that stuff, and Nikki's and I, each of our sheets. And we've been doing that with a lot of our games. We did, of course, Welcome to New Las Vegas, and we played On Tour. Is that I can never get the name right. It's On Tour from BoardGameTables.com. That one, we played that on the show and with some friends. So it's been great because those are games that you are all involved in. We are all discussing what we're doing, and we're, most of it's showing the image like this. So Nikki and I have enough cameras that we can actually do it correctly, but it helps everybody else follow along what we're doing. It's really fun, and it's what's really been great about all this is the ingenuity everybody's exhibiting with figuring out how to play online with the many different, and all these online game, online play like Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, Board Game Arena, all those companies were doing well before, but not great, and now it's insane, right? They're struggling to keep up with all the new people subscribing and playing, so it's pretty amazing. Fortunately, there's opportunities to play. There's no hugging, though. Thankfully, I have Nikki here to hug, but, no fist
Eric,
bumps
you're
either.
back!
Hey, what did you play, Eric?
I am.
He thawed.
Yeah, there he is.
I
He's
played.
solid. Oh,
Check to see if the router is still working. And so I'm not sure what
it
happened
might be,
with this.
it's iffy. It's iffy.
Right now it's
I know.
iffy.
I still think it's your computer. Might be your computer.
It could be. I'm definitely freezing.
Yeah. Did you refresh the browser?
Reboot your computer. Reboot your computer and come back and leave a funny face for us to watch while you're gone.
Perfect.
Scott, what have you been
We're just
playing?
gonna leave that up.
Yes.
I played that Rolling Realms. That's
Yes.
amazing.
He's played everything with us lately.
I played everything with you guys, but
Cartographers.
we played a lot in the last couple weeks. So actually, yeah, it's been great. On Tour was really nice. But the thing I was doing like a little solo streaming, and I played the Circadian's First Light. I didn't talk about this before, right?
No.
I feel like I've talked about it, but on different shows. But I'm giving it as much love as I can. It's a Garphill game production. It was a Kickstarter, and then Renegade brought it out. It came out at Essen. It's a dice worker placement game, which we love, right? It's set in a futuristic, it's a sci-fi setting, and it's really interesting. It's got a lot of cool, and I only played solo, so
We all
it
gotta
does
do
have
Eric.
an AI. So you basically you roll the dice, you play some, you do stuff, you
I
trade.
can't hear anything you're saying, Scott.
We're done. I should not. There's no way I can compete. I can't.
You know what, Scott? It's funny though. You saying that game, which I can't pronounce, something of Circadia or whatever it is.
Circadians.
Yeah,
Circadian Rhythms,
Circadian.
First Light. Yeah.
It's funny. His games have had such a consistent artistic look for so long with the different games he's put out that when that one was released, just because the virtue of the fact it had a different artist, I kind of went, I don't know how interested I am in this, which is bizarre because it's not like the artwork was bad. It's just I had such a
It's a specific
I associated
style
it
that
so
some people
closely.
don't
Yes,
like.
yes.
Yeah. No, but it's
But
a
it sounds
very
like it's
good
great.
game. And
Good look. Yeah.
it's one of those I don't love pre-planning games, but this one wasn't too bad. Like pre-planning games for me I hate them. Like I just do. Where you pre-plan your move and then you reveal and then you place your dice, right? Like, and if someone goes before you and they take your spot, you're screwed, right? That's not fun for me.
Right.
However, this game has a way where you can place a dice and then you'll go first before anyone places a dice in the next round. So that's a cool mechanism. And I only played solo, but I played solo against the bot, and the bot would play 2 or 3 dice a turn in lockout spaces. Only a couple times did he break me, like he broke my plan.
Right.
And I was able to do other stuff with those dice anyway. So It's really cool. Like, I don't know why it didn't get much notice. I guess the artwork probably.
Simulator. So maybe I should go check it out.
Yeah.
And you can solo it. It's great. Like, you can just get through. I think I'm streaming and explaining, and it took an hour. I think it took me 2 hours the first time, but then I played again. It took about an hour. It's an 8-round game, and every round a power comes out that like affects the game rules. Some are good, some are bad. You have a cool overmap where you're basically going around the planet and mining stuff, and getting resources. And water is a resource, algae is a resource, gems are a resource, and then there's a trading market, and there's a negotiation with the local aliens, and you get powers if you negotiate with them. So there's a lot of, it's packed solidly with lots of cool things. Oh, and there's gear. There's like 50 gear cards that you can buy and build, and they all change the rules. So there's so much stuff in it. You like that kind of stuff.
Sounds cool.
We were all miming your face there at one point as you're rebooting. We were all like,
Good.
it was good.
Slightly
Maybe
less
a
angry.
screenshot.
Eric is back.
For people.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you
It
play,
looks
Eric?
smoother too.
Frustration. Have you heard about The Crew? No.
Yes, I have.
I've been playing
I
it
don't
a
know.
lot.
Wait, tell me about it.
All the time. So most I've been doing videos for because I've not been doing my usual amount of gaming here. One thing that haven't covered is Quix, the card game, which is out from Gameray. It came out in Germany a few years ago. So this is the familiar Quix gameplay in which everyone's playing at the same time. You're trying to cross off as many numbers as possible because your score in each color is based on how many numbers you mark off. But you must mark off numbers starting from the left and then going to the right. You can never go back to the left again. In this game, you are going to have a deck of cards that has numbers on the back in white, but colored numbers on the other side, including jokers if you want to play with the jokers, such as here. So you start with a hand of cards. You're going to have 4 cards face up. You're going to fill your hand to 5 cards at the start of your turn. You're drawing numbers, but you don't know what colors they are. Okay, and once you do that, you refill the market, and then whatever number is on top of the deck, everyone can mark out if they want. This represents the white dice in the original Quix game. And then you're going to play 1 to 3 cards from your hand, and they all have to be the same color. And if you play cards of the same color, you can possibly mark off multiple numbers. However, you can have at most a 1-number gap in what you mark off. So if I play these 3 cards, I can mark off the 2 or the 5 and 7, but not both. So possibly I want to play this one turn and then the 5, 7 on another turn, and hopefully get things to fill in the middle. Very straightforward, very simple, very Quixian. I loved seeing how a designer takes a game system and reimagines it. And so that's what this does, similar to how there's another version, Quix on Board, that came out with a game board that adds an additional way to score. Here it's the same thing, but different. I just love seeing how people explore stuff, explore creation and do it different ways. Sort of the
And you said that one's been out for a while already, right, in Germany?
It's been out in Germany for several years.
NSV, yeah.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah. But I mean, Gamerate focuses much more on mainstream titles. Quix has been hugely successful in Target. It has been there in place for multiple years, and they've now come out with this version.
Nice.
With the card game version, which is a little harder to explain. It's not as straightforward as rolling the dice because, again, you have hidden information. So it's a little harder to make sure people are playing properly, except, or they understand the choices they're making initially.
Right.
When you're teaching a person whose English is a second language. So it's a little harder to make sure everything's working properly initially, but we've been getting on fine with it. And I've been losing consistently, so I guess I taught it okay.
That's good, though. I mean, you're encouraging, exactly, and you're encouraging them to play more. Yeah. You're letting them win, right? No, you're not letting them win.
I am not letting them win. No, Lisa is crushing me. Last game, she scored 112, which was like 20 points higher than I've seen so far over 6 games or so. It was crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have the NSV version. I need to try it out. I also got the Quix on Board. I haven't played that either. And I really like Quix, so one of these days I'll get to it.
That's right. Quix on Board is very cool. It's a neat system, although it goes super fast with 4 people somehow. You can just advance very quickly and the game lasts a very short time.
We actually played Quix on the Game Night Live a few weeks back as well. We've been digging deep trying to find the games to play because we actually want to have the audience involved with this as well. So it's a nice treat if everybody's looking forward to it, which is great. So we do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We had Rodney last week play Cartographers, or Rod Miraquai, as he's called, last week. You got to check that one out.
I was looking for the clip. I couldn't find it. Did you find the clip?
It's at 1 hour and 24 minutes. I found it when I looked at it yesterday because I want to actually snip it and put it on Twitter because it's pretty great.
It was an unintentional costume. Meant to solve a little tech issue at the last minute.
Well, we were looking, and then finally I looked up at you on the screen. I'm like, oh my God, you look like Jamiroquai. So then Rodney watched the video, and then he actually did the dance. He was moving the chair around and dancing, virtuing. Yeah, because that was pretty spectacular. Just need to learn the song so he can sing it.
That's right. You're right. I'll get to work on that. But that was really fun playing Cartographers. I mean, again, great fun game, and something that people watching could play along with. So that was good.
And I prefer that monster roll.
Yes.
The
you
solo
did like
play.
that,
And I talked to Rado about it because he said, "Oh, it's Cartographer's a wonderful game, except it's got a problem." And I'm like, "What's the problem?" He says, "Monsters." And I'm like, "Well, play the solo variant." He played it pre-publication. It was not in the rules at that time. So he did not have that, which I think is better than the game as published rules. The variant.
Nice.
Solo monster variant. Cool. Eric. Topic of discussion is gaming without pants. Would you like to start us off?
That's right. Clearly, we are all without pants.
Yeah, I've been without pants for like a month.
Yes, I think that has to be given at this point.
I can tell you I've been wearing this shirt for 3 days because I keep having to reshoot a scene in a video I've done. So I just keep wearing it.
That's right. That's why I got multiple copies of this shirt.
Yeah.
So I can just wear this and
not worry about it.
Mounts of Board Game Geek shirts.
Yes.
Okay, skip that.
Those are available on the Board Game Geek store. It's open again, open on May 3rd. So go get your BGG shirts. We sold out of Wingspan.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I got one.
Did you get one in time? Snuck one in there?
I did.
Nice.
We do have a whole bunch of bags that came in over the week, this week. So go check that out. There's a lot of new releases. Bags, that is. Let's see. Let's sort of wrap up here. We've been going for an hour. Small World of Warcraft came out, or is coming out.
Yes.
Eric, do you know anything about that?
Yes.
I know Small World, I know Warcraft.
Yes. So Days of Wonder is combined or partnered with Blizzard Entertainment to announce Small World of Warcraft, which uses the fantasy races from the Warcraft universe in the Small World setting with the Small World gameplay by Philip K. Arts, where you are you control a race, you try to expand in lots of different territories, which is going to naturally push other people out. And then your race goes in decline and you take charge of another race. Each race is going to be randomly combined with an attribute to create a unique creature for that particular game that has some characteristics that will allow you to do different things and expand and take over area different ways. And you earn coins at the end of your turn for each landscape you occupy and try to have the most coins to win. So some races and powers seem similar to what's existed already because Small World exists in many different forms with Small World and Small World Underground and then multiple expansions with all sorts of different things. Well, this is going to be its own standalone game. No word yet on whether it can be combined with other Small World titles, possibly just because gaming licenses often don't allow you to say such things.
Right.
But people will figure things out if they're curious. They'll find a way. And
that was the same way with the Funkoverse actually when I did the videos for that. Even though I was doing the Harry Potter, and you definitely can combine them, they didn't want me talking about that because they're owned by different properties and all that sort of thing.
Well, that's what.
Did I just break the rule by talking about it here?
I know.
Am I in trouble now?
Cryptozoic said the same thing when they were at Gamma. They were talking about the games in their Cerberus engine games, and they're like, well, they can play together if you want to, but not officially.
That's right.
Can I show you guys a little memento I have from Small World?
Sure.
I'll be right back. You guys keep talking amongst yourselves.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Put your pants on first before you get up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Clearly, he was wearing pants.
Canadian crack. I saw Canadian crack.
He was going on a. He said he was going to be hunting something earlier, so maybe that's what's going on.
Let's see.
So,
what else
Small
is in
World
the
of
news?
Warcraft
Yep.
coming out in Q4.
Q4. I
Oh, no,
had
sorry.
actually.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, I forget the date now. Gosh, I used to remember everything. Dates mean nothing. I heard someone talk about Blur's Day, and that's the day of the week now. It's Blur's Day. That's all it is.
Thursday, that is good.
or Blends Day. What do you got,
I
Rodney?
don't know how well this is going to show up. Oh, and the big screen is pretty good. So,
Yeah.
one of the first games that we played on the Watch It Play channel was Small World, and one of the combinations that came up was the diplomatic skeletons. And I had this artwork commissioned because I loved the notion of diplomatic skeletons. So we've got here very debonair with his diplomacy scrolls here,
Nice.
and it was incredible. It was great. Who did the art? I should know this. It was the original artist on Summoner Wars. Oh, who was the original artist on Summoner Wars?
I can find out for you.
I'm forgetting right now. Oh yeah, there's an awesome website you can go to with lots of information about board games on it that would have that like right at your fingertips, Scott. Yeah,
Maybe.
but it was a powerhouse in a 3-player game. The diplomatic skeletons were, they just tore through everything else, which was great. But I always loved that picture. So it's diplomatic skeletons. Who knew?
When did you actually commission that?
That would have been maybe in 2014. It was like during one of our fundraisers. I thought this would be kind of a fun memento, trying to create a little bit of artwork that people who'd watch the show might connect with in some way, right? But then if you looked at it, you wouldn't know what it was or what it was for, but you would know if you knew.
Yeah.
Kind of an inside thing, right?
If you're in the know, you know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you just
JJ Ariosa, David Richards, or Gary Simpson. One of those three.
Ariosa. I'm pretty sure it's Ariosa. Yeah.
I have
Good stuff.
some things from not as cool as your thing, but I got the Small World
figures from Small World,
the figures that they only did 4 of them.
Yeah.
The Spider Queen back there. Well, no, backwards. Spider Queen. What are they?
The Wizards or whatever.
The skeleton with the cowboy hat.
The wizard.
And the wizard and the Amazon. And they only did 4.
Yeah, it's too
I
bad.
wish
They were great.
I would have bought
They're
them.
really great sculpts.
Yeah, they're nice. They're really nice sculpts.
We have the spider one, of course. Nikki loves spiders, so except in real life. Well, she says she loves them in real life too. Cool.
There you go.
No.
Okay. Nice. Small World. More Small World. Small World trays are also on the Board Game Geek store. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are nice.
fantastic,
Buy those.
by the way. Yeah.
Plug.
You can plug your stuff.
So,
it's good. They're good trays.
Yeah.
I'll plug for you. They're awesome trays.
Game trays.
we'll
Yeah.
have to have a new a new size to get everything. We used to have a bundle
Yeah.
where you could buy enough to cover all the material out, but now we'll have to expand it.
Gonna need a bigger box.
We're gonna need a bigger box.
Bigger. Just, yeah. So
Small World
another thing in the
Deluxe.
news.
That box is big enough.
I didn't find the date because the website's down. The UK Game Expo is going virtual. They're doing a virtual con. Replace the con.
Right.
That's all I know.
Right.
There's probably more information out there. Just wanted to point that out.
Virtual. What are they calling it? I saw it. Virtual Expo or
Not
something.
called UK Expo, right? Yeah. Virtually.
Yeah, I think it's Virtual
virtually.
Expo. I thought it was Virtual Expo, but it might be Virtually Expo or something like that.
I tried to find the date, but the website was down. The website is down. Get that web guy on there. Also, Kickstarter news: Railroad Ink Challenge raised $330,000. What is Railroad Ink Challenge? Does anybody know?
That's the
It's sequels
Is
to
that
Railroad
is that
Ink.
the
right. It's
horrible game?
To
Horrible
Horrible
Guild?
Guild.
Yeah.
Yep.
Horrible Guild. It's a pair of games. I'm just amazed that it's Roll and Write Games with $330,000 in backing. I don't know whether this speaks to the time we're in, where people are like, a solo game that's Roll and Write, I can play with anyone. Excellent. We'll do that. Because I'll still be at home when this comes out. People through games.
Could be.
I hope. Pretty sure. And then we also have Hell: The Last Saga, which I can't load my Kickstarter page right now because I don't have my Authy code.
Oh.
Anybody else know about Hell? Sorry, I'm really behind on my Kickstarter. So I've sort of times have hit hard BGG.
Yeah.
That's why we're plugging a little bit. I've cut off my Kickstarter purchases temporarily. Just
Oh
FYI.
wow! I mean, this one
Has
looks
that been
pretty
tough
cool.
for
you,
I mean,
Scott?
If that was a minis,
Oh, yeah,
version,
it's
I would be
incredibly
all in.
tough.
It's
incredibly tough.
incredible art. It's incredible minis, but it's like a semi-cooperative narrative game, I believe. I think it's cooperative, but there's ways that you might betray other people. I'm not quite sure about that, but you're going through a campaign with and you got to go survive.
That's right.
It's
Survival
rated
game in the
18 and
wilderness.
older, so it's for mature audiences.
That's right. Find out what happened to the rest of the people in your group.
What's the name of the
culture.
game?
Sounds exciting.
Hell, the
The
Lost
Last
Saga from Mythic Games.
HEL.
Yes, from Mythic
Oh wait,
Games.
I remember.
Which
Yeah,
does
they showed it to
giant-
us. They showed that to us
Giant
at Can FIJ. So there's actually
That was a
I
different
think
one, actually.
Oh,
No,
yeah, we have a geek
HEL?
video for it.
was
Yeah,
different.
Yeah, they showed us the
Yeah.
one that's like in the Winter Wasteland, which I can't think of the name of right now.
Okay.
Unless they came by twice
But that-
and did Hell as well.
There's a video attached to this from FIJ. Let me see.
I'm
what it
pretty
is.
Yeah,
certain.
Hell is.
Oh,
Hell
maybe,
has
maybe
a
I wasn't there for
wintry
that one. Maybe I wasn't in
landscape.
the booth during that one.
Well, I'm actually looking for the result, and there it is, 795,000. Yeah, I thought they showed that one. It's got
Yeah,
11
they did.
days
I
to go.
did.
Talk.
Yeah.
I'll probably back. I'll break my Kickstarter, and I will buy that.
Yeah.
It
Because
seems
I like
like
the-
something
Is
you
a-
would like, so.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because it's the Mythic formula where it's Kickstarter only. This is it. We're saying here's
Yeah,
what it
this
is.
is-
You
this
get
is the
all the
only
gameplay
one, yeah.
in this package,
Pretty much have to
and
back it.
we couldn't sell it through stores. So here you go.
Pretty much have to
Or
back
at
it.
least-
Listen to you.
Well, if I can't buy it in the stores, and if I only have
Did-
30 days to buy it, I mean, it's
You
a
have
sales
to,
tactic,
Scott.
right? I mean,
Did
I don't
Rick
have to,
did
but I mean, I kinda
Reichbusters
do.
ship? Did Reichbusters ship,
Yeah,
Scott?
that's delivering.
it's
to
sitting
people.
down. It's five massive boxes sitting down. in my
Well,
garage
I think you have my version in there too, which someday
that's
I'll get.
probably correct.
Yeah, that's why it's so many
Oh, did
boxes.
they add it on? Oh, yeah, that's right, because we did
You
two
back
copies.
because we did it post campaign, I believe.
Right, we
We,
did.
we got
That's why there's so much
demoed it at
boxes.
FIJ, and we're like, let's get it, and you ordered it for us both, so we
Yeah, I
could
remember
get it.
we
Because
were
I
really
can't wait to
stoked
paint those
about it.
minis. Yeah, it's really cool looking.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's a show. I think, right?
Sure is.
Anything else?
That's a show.
We'll do like a question. We'll do a question or two. I'm
With
supposed
the
to have that
audience.
meeting, remember? So let's keep it fast. Any questions from the chat? Please send them. There's a little bit of delay here, so we'll wait. Has anybody got any weekend plans?
I'm going to organize the studio, and I'm going to dream of seeing people. I actually did see somebody. I had Mike was at home. Nick Murphy came over to pick up some games, and we stood 6 feet apart with masks on and exchanged the games. So it was the first person I had actually seen in 2 months besides at grocery stores and things like that. So
First person you know, yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we went to our sub shop, and we know those guys. So we saw them. We went there. We've been there twice in the last 2 months, and we went to the taco place we love a month and a half, 2 months ago almost. But yeah, I haven't seen any family members or any friends. So it was exciting to stand there and talk for a little while. It was while we were testing, so I missed the whole Bonacore test, which was sad because he can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I did watch the video, and he did use some profanity several times. I was like, "Wow, Steven." Oh yeah. He's like, and I could do that without the profanity. So he was talking about new stuff, new things that he
Nice he
thinks
gave
he'll
you
be
the
able to
option.
tell us about it. Tell us about next Wednesday, I believe he's on. So he's going to show Nova Luna, and then maybe break some news, which would be exciting because
right.
it sounded good
The
to me.
news. We like news.
Yeah.
AWS Salvador. We did the SDJ predictions at the beginning. I think we came out with Cartographers, Tiny Town, The Crew, Mandala,
No,
Parks.
that's not out yet.
Not Parks.
Parks no
is
go.
not- Parks is
Yeah,
not-
it's not
What
out yet.
else? Oh, Wavelength.
Yeah, or
which I
perfect
can't remember whether it's
match.
Is out or not.
Yeah, it is perfect match because we saw it from Schmidt. It's called
Yeah,
Perfect Match.
but I don't know whether it was on the market.
Ah,
Like, was it available?
right. Well,
by the
again,
end of March?
that could have
I
been
don't
one of
remember.
those games that was after March release, which is usually okay for the SDJs, and they might not have. They might have just said next year for that one. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of people talk about Point Salad, but that is also not out in German yet. Point Salad would be great.
Yeah, somebody
As an
asked us
SDJ
about that the
title,
other day.
but
Yeah.
I still haven't played
Pegasus
that.
is bringing it out later in the year. So
I hear a lot of good things about
not,
Salad.
not eligible.
Yeah.
Also, that avocado game. Or no, artichokes.
Artichoke?
Abandon all
fun.
artichokes.
Yeah.
That's super fun, but English only.
Yeah.
So, no. Yeah. Give it a year.
Let's talk about fun games to check out. Will Chaz be joining us on game night again? Maybe remote.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That was
need
so.
to
That
call
was
him.
actually shot with Rodney and Chaz almost. I mean, over a year ago now. It was when it came out. It had been 1 year. We had some technical issues with that one, and the challenges of editing that one. Because
that
it's,
must have been a beast to do.
it's 5 cameras, right? So it was
And the app.
That's what I think I'm counting the app as one of those, and it was the
screen
app
tap,
was
yeah.
a little bit of a struggle for it, but it was a lot of fun. And it was when I watched it back, I was like, "Wow, this was so much fun!" Since we haven't played games with people and face to face for a long time now, it was like, "Wow, that was really fun." But yeah, hopefully.
Is Hadara eligible? I think Hadara was eligible
I
last
think
year.
it was
It
last
was,
year.
and it
we
was
were all
over.
sad.
It was overlooked, and I thought that game should have been nominated for sure. It's really one of my favorite
Yeah.
games.
Eric, does My City
was
have
a-
a shot at SDJ? My City? Did it come out in time?
Oh, I want to play that so
Possibly
bad.
Kenner. Yes, it's definitely out because I received a copy from Germany for review, and I think right around that time. So it's out. Probably more a Kenner nomination because it's a legacy game. The rules start extremely simple, but you're adding in lots of other elements, and just the idea of doing that is probably something that would push it up to a Kenner level. Even though the gameplay is fairly straightforward, but you're adding in all these different concepts of how things layer on top of each other. And there's a continuous game that you can play whether you finish the legacy game or not, but you also need components from some of the envelopes in there. So it's a little, few hoops to jump through to get all that. But
I
that could
know in
definitely
your
be
video you
considered.
were debating. Yeah, I know in your YouTube or your video that you did on it, you were debating whether or not it was a legacy game. It is. You just played like the best legacy game ever made first, and then you judged it against that, which has story
more-
twists and all. Yeah, it's a legacy game. You're altering your board. You're cutting pieces. You're marking permanent things. That technically is a legacy. I know
My
it may not
issue
have
is
as
more that
impactful for you than most, because you played like
Yeah.
basically the best legacy game out there.
What's the
which was Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
okay?
Season 1.
That I played with 2 people I'd love to play games with. So it's just the best experience ever. It was fantastic.
That's going to be hard.
I mean,
to
the
match.
main-
I have not.
Yeah. The
Plank
main issue
Legacy
though with
may be
My
there for me,
City
but I don't know yet.
is like it doesn't have the narrative that Pandemic Legacy does. So you're getting different gameplay elements, but I just want to play that same thing over and over again to see how it works and try it out. Because Knizia is awesome at delivering a game experience, but I play it once and then you're adding something new, so you don't get to try it again. And like his games really reward replay, and here you're adding some of the time, so it's this weird moving target where you're trying to improve, but the things you're trying to do keep shifting around. So
That's a lot like a lot of legacy games now. Yeah.
yeah, but
You
there's
only
not
put
a
one
narrative
thing in there, and
that
you don't play it more than once usually.
Yeah. So
And honestly, like
it's-
although Queensdale is like that, you might like Queensdale because you add something to the game and you have to play it like 5 more times before something new gets added.
right.
3 or 4 times, and the games are pretty fast. That was one legacy game recently that I finished. I really enjoyed, but it did get a little. I wanted it to be over by the end for sure.
Right. I mean, it's hard to argue
when you
and
keep
say,
playing the same
I
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I played My City 26 times. I mean, it's not like I didn't like it.
Wow.
It's just, I did the whole campaign and I played the Eternal game twice. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that it's not the legacy experience I want. I want my Knizia consistent so that I can change as I play his games and figure out how to play them better. I'm the legacy element. in those games. If that
That's
makes
so
sense.
meta.
Makes sense.
I like that. Yeah.
I think.
I mean, just
I
yeah,
had
all
something
those
to
games
say
are
and I
like that.
forgot it. It dropped out of my head. It was.
my awesome comment.
that's
Knocked it
important.
right out.
Yeah, you blew me away with that awesome comment. Well, that's it. Have any of us played Steampunk Rally? No, that'd be the last question. Do you think my city can win any towns? Yeah, we discussed this all. If you watch the show back at Salvador, we did a lot more talking about this stuff.
I haven't played
and
Steampunk
then-
Rally. That's Broxley Games, right?
Yes.
Yes, it
Roxley,
is.
yeah.
I played it a
I don't think
long
any of us
time
have
ago.
played.
I mean, I
There's
played it a
another
long
standalone
time
that's
ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that
So
we'll finish off with one more thing. Well, you know what? This might take a while, so maybe I will save it for the next show. Let's do that.
Sure. Leave them wanting more.
Sorry to tease you. We'll leave you hanging, everybody. But so anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This has been the Board Game Geek Show. I am your host, Aldi, and once again joined by my lovely co-hosts, and I can see them on the screen this time. W. Eric Martin, Lincoln Damhurst, Seth Hodge, and
You
thanks
got it.
everybody for watching.
Thanks for joining us,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
It's
See you
always
next
fun.
week.